A short reading from Over A Spitfire. Air Transport Auxiliary Ferry Pool, Midlands, August 1941. There was the usual flurry of morning activity as the ATA pilots collected their chits for the day. Ava Greatbatch rushed into the crowded office, wafting her hands around and blowing on her nails to dry the crimson polish which matched her exquisitely applied lipstick. "Where does the time go in the morning?" she gasped breathlessly to Joyce Simpson in front of her. "I know," replied Joyce. "I can never get my hair to wave properly, even with all the cursing and swearing I do at it." Ava giggled. "Oh, Joyce, you are a one." "It's all right for you," pouted Joyce, whose brown hair had a tendency to frizz. "Your hair waves beautifully." "It still needs a little help." Ava shook her thick blonde curls, which sat with a lovely bounce on her shoulders. "You both look beautiful as always," came a male voice behind them as Henry Bailey draped his arms around both of their shoulders. "All I can say is I'm glad you two don't think like some of these chaps, that women belong in the kitchen." Ava drew herself up tall. "I most certainly don't think that. I shall never be happy stuck in the kitchen." "That's my girl, full of fighting spirit." Henry patted Ava's seductively round bottom, encased in the skirt of her uniform, his hand lingering a moment longer than necessary. "Go on with you, Henry Bailey, you're too saucy by far." She sauntered off from him and collected her chits. Scanning through them, she let out a cry of delight. "Oh, Joyce, look what I've got a Spitfire." She waved the chit under Joyce's nose, and Joyce looked through her own, her face brightening into a smile. "Me too, look." Just then a new girl entered the room and strode purposely up to the desk. "Wilhelmina Schmidt," she announced. "Call me Will." Ava couldn't help but notice the girl, as did everyone else in the room. It was nothing to do with the German name, and everything to do with her confidence. She wore trousers with her uniform. It was as if all eyes were drawn to Wilhelmina Schmidt. She wasn't the prettiest of girls, but neither was she plain. Her oval face, with its defined bone structure, had character, and her whole being oozed charisma. Her presence filled the room. As she turned away from the desk holding her chits, she glanced down at them, raised her eyebrows, and a faint smile played on her lips. She wasn't wearing much makeup, Ava noticed, just a dab of face powder, and she guessed that her light brown hair didn't need any encouragement to wave. It had a natural life of its own, falling just below her ears. Just then she looked up, and her eyes locked with Ava's, who felt a flush stain her cheeks as she realised she'd been staring. She smiled at Will. "Are you pleased with what you've got?" she asked. "Absolutely. I've got a Spitfire."